on, Cicero Town Council meeting is now in session. Please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, Ms. Gary.
Thank you, Father. Father, we always give you all the glory. Thank you for all your blessings. Thank you for the council. Be with them, help them make good decisions for the town of Cicero. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Everybody can turn on their microphones, please. All right, Ms. Gary, if you could take roll.
I can. Joe Cox.
Present.
Eric Hayden.
Present.
Dennis Johnson.
Present.
Jacob Everett. Emily Pearson. Present.
We have a quorum with 4 members present. Moving along to the approval of the agenda. I know we have some revisions to tonight's agenda. Eric adding weight limits on under old business. Agreement,
License agreement. and
license
business.
agreement under new business.
And then the resolution?
Resolution for signing at closing.
Yep, under new business. What comes after F, G?
This resolution 0721-2026-02.
Slow down, 07-2026.
-21-2026-02.
And that's to allow you to sign in the closing?
It is.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Frank, we're going to capture you. Keith, we're going to capture you under the agreement with you. We're going to discuss under your section. Is that okay? Are you prepared to do that? Okay. I feel like I'm missing something. Help me here, Aaron. Are we missing something?
I think we've covered everything.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. I guess we're good. If there are no other revisions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have an agenda. Moving along to the approval of the prior minutes dated July 7th, 2026. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes? Questions, concerns, revisions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved, Dennis Johnson.
Second, Emily Pearson.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good to go on the minutes. Moving along to the claims. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the claims? Questions? Concerns?
I had a couple questions I asked. Regarding claims, I would like to put Rhonda on the staff meeting clothing allowance discussion.
To the staff meeting?
Yeah, the next staff meeting,
Will do.
please. Thank you.
Clothing allowance?
Yeah, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the 721 claims.
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Let's get the bills paid. Moving along to council committee reports. Nothing under EDC. Mr. Freeman.
This time, the stormwater has nothing new to bring. I'll let Keith inform you about the punch list we had on our Morse Landing project.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Moving on, legal counsel report. Mr. Culp.
I have nothing now, we'll have things later on.
Okay. Moving along, Cicero Jackson Township Plan Commission report. Mr. Zawadzki.
Evening, Council. I have nothing further to update.
Thank you very much. Mr. Strong, do you have anything under special projects?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving along, town engineering report. Mr. Bryant.
And here's where we come to a screeching halt.
And then there's me. Wastewater treatment plant, Reynolds continues restoration and punch list items. We're going to meet on site tomorrow, and the engineer from the SRF group will be there as well. If you guys may recall, we've got band financing or short-term financing. At some point, we'll probably roll that over, and have to, in long-term financing. And we went through the SRF process to allow us to use state revolving fund loan to do that, which should give us lower interest rates. So during the project, we've been making sure we've been in compliance with all the SRF requirements and coordinating with them. But Amy is going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to take her around the plant. So, but Reynolds continues to try to finish things up. So the plant's operational. They're just doing final punch list stuff and restoration.
We do not have a pay application.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not seen one.
Did I hear end of month? Is that what I've heard?
I'm sorry, Eric, what?
End of month, they're expecting to be done?
Well, that's what I said 2 weeks ago, but I'm not as hopeful as I was. Because they had a delay with their paving subcontractor getting in there. That kind of set them back a week or two, I think.
I saw them out there last weekend paving, last Saturday.
Finally, yeah, they were late. They were about a week and a half later than what they were supposed to be there. But that was,
Okay.
their sub had some equipment breakdown or something like that, they claimed. But everything's operational, so it's really just aesthetics for the most part, you know. Questions about the wastewater plant?
Yes, sir.
So regarding wastewater, I mean, this improvements thing, this is just, does this go with the wastewater just as a summary of what we've spent
This
over
is,
time?
I actually put that together, Terry and I talked, and that's where Mr. Cook here is going to talk later, and this just kind of give you an idea of projects since, you know, the last 50-some years that have been done to reduce I&I,
Okay.
among other things. So that's the purpose of it.
Okay, I got you.
Didn't have one for me?
I thought
Maybe I
left one
took
up there.
yours.
Somebody snagged yours, Joe.
Sorry.
You're fine.
2026 CCMG East Jackson Street project, the paving's done, striping is not done, hydrant markers still need to go in, some other miscellaneous, talked to Dennis, but Terry and I walked it, and Sean as well, and we've already notified them there's 4 or 5 structures they're going to have to adjust as well. They left down too low.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask about.
Me
too.
It's like the Grand Canyon out there.
Yeah,
So
I don't even know how, the finished grade was supposed to be the same elevation as pre, so I don't even know how they accomplished what they did with those structures.
I found it the hard way.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so do they have to dig that up then? And,
We're looking at different measures. If it's just a little bit, they make rings that go inside the casting, and you can just drop a ring in there and then raise it up an inch or something like that. So
Okay.
there's some methods to raise it, some of the structures pretty easily.
okay,
It's the ones that are in the wheel path that are really, and there's one there that's in the wheel path that everybody hits. You can just sit there and hear it. I'm surprised the people across the road are not complaining from the noise, to be honest with you, because it's just like a drum. I'm sorry?
I hear it.
But we're gonna fix it, so. So we do have on that project a substantial completion walkthrough scheduled for the 30th, I believe. Yeah, for July 30th, because the main project manager is on vacation, so I kind of delayed that, but overall it looks good. They do have some striping to correct and to finish, as I mentioned before, though. Morris Landing Drive under drain project. We did a substantial completion inspection on that on the 16th. We have put together a punch list and substantial completion form that we've sent to them. When they sign and send that back, we'll send it up to the Stormwater Board for signature and review. But basically, they've got seeding, cleanup, some depressed areas in their yards they've got to fix, a few minor concrete things here and there, but most of it's completed and looks really good, so.
so I walked it, and there's, I guess after, when did you walk it?
The 16th,
So that's this week?
last week.
Okay, so I walked it, and there's some areas that have some pretty big holes, and,
Yeah. They're supposed to come in and they're going to fill those areas because we said, well, we don't want the liability of somebody tripping. So they need to get those filled, and they said they'd do that this week. Haven't got there yet. But then they are going to have to reseed and retill and redo all that. But the reality is they're not going to have any grass grow until September at this point. So there's really not, they'd just be wasting time to plant it now, so.
well, we've had quite a bit of rain, but I would have
Yeah.
expected a little more than what's there. Yeah, there's some pretty big holes, okay.
Of course, you imagine they got that all filled and it looked really nice, and then we got that 5 inches of rain in an hour, so that kind of
Yeah,
didn't help the situation. And we wound up with part of the topsoil out in the curb line at that point, so. It's always that tricky thing, getting the seed to grow and getting it done in the perfect weather, you know, where it's not washing away. But it's a tough balance, but they will address it again here shortly. 2027 CCMG, we did email up on the 16th, I think, a task order for that. Or there's 2 task orders. So we talked about that and set the scope. There's a task order 3A and 3B. The 3A, and I believe that's what you wanted us to do, the 3A basically is, hey, what does it take to do everything except for that dry water main that we talked about possibly putting in there for a future connection over to the west side of the reservoir. So basically, you got task order 3A, and then you got 3B if we do want, that's additive, so this is just the extra work that would be required if we wanted to proceed. Really probably should decide, you know, whether we want to do it now or not, because construction cost is an extra $420,000 or so, but you're also spending $40,000 or $50,000 in extra design, permitting, construction admin costs that if you're not going to do it now, then, you know, we might as well wait and delay that as well. So it's really your choice, the pros and cons. I mean, I don't know, I don't think anybody sitting here knows when we might extend that water main over there. Another option that we talked about is if we don't do it now, we can come in and we can actually directional drill much of that section, like in 1,000, 1,200 foot lengths, and really not damage, you know, we have to dig a hole at those two ends, but we're not tearing up all the pavement, so.
So your recommendation would be, knowing it's 420 now,
Would be,
what's United, what's,
I have a hard time reckoning, without knowing when and if and ever we're going to extend over there, it's tough to spend $500,000 now that, with unknowns. I mean, it's really, I have a hard time recommending that. But
do you have any estimate, just spitball number of what a directional drill of that pipe size would cost?
probably, it probably could be $250, $300 a foot, something like that. So, I mean, it probably would wind up costing us another $150,000, $200,000, roughly.
So you're thinking 600K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the time we do it, I mean, if it's 8-10 years from now, we may decide, well, we'll just cut the pavement's ready to be resurfaced again, and maybe we just go ahead and cut the pavement. So it depends on the timing.
Or do something on the other side even, so.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But as on that project, though, as we've talked, September is the application for that project to the NDOT to try to get the 80% grant money on the eligible items. We really need to get started in design, so if there's any way you could entertain that tonight, because like we talked before, they've squeezed the period from when they give you the grant to when you have to have successful bids, and there's not enough time to do survey and design in that window anymore. So our recommendation would be we move forward if we're going to apply in September.
And that does not include any of, I meant to look at it as I came by, any of those utilities, overhead utilities, and that correct?
Yeah, it's a scope of work we talked about, which is basically extending all the sidewalks and widening them all the way down, putting from Main Street west on the north side, go ahead and putting it down to the condos, putting new street lights down through there. The 2 crosswalks with push buttons, with raised pedestals for crosswalks for safety, for pedestrian safety, you know, one east and one west of Main Street. And of course, 5.5-inch mill to replace a pavement to get the pavement restored.
So we are talking about with engineering, about a $2 million project, of which about $1 million would be potentially covered by the grant.
It's pretty accurate, yeah. If you get the grant, it'd be $1 million grant, so it'd be, yeah, about 1.94. So you're pretty close. Estimated, again, do we get competitive bids and it's less than that? Maybe. I mean, we don't want to be when we put together estimates, we try not to be the low bidder, because that doesn't do much for us in planning. We have to give bids and we can't afford to do it.
Right.
So hopefully we've been pretty successful in the bids on these last CCMG projects, that they've come in under the estimate, but something we can't control, but we do our best to estimate anyway.
So I guess my question to the council is, do you guys like that design, or do you think something else needs to be looked at? When we talked about a roundabout, I don't think, you're not going to do it for this price for that area. And I don't know that there's room. I mean,
Not without making some major changes there. I'm good with it, with what was discussed.
I am too.
Mr. Johnson?
There's so much is in that, and we don't know what the moving of the power utilities are gonna be.
So that wasn't scoped?
Wasn't
Yeah,
scoped yet.
It's
Not- it's not
it's
scoped
not
yet.
in there, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna move utilities, we won't be applying in September, and we could start doing some research about how to get the utilities on board, but I'm gonna guess it's at least $500,000 to move those utilities at minimum to bury them.
So then if you wanted to do it later, at a later time, I mean, is that possible? Or
Do a wide area.
if somebody in the future wanted to move those utilities at a later time, and are there means to be able to do that? I'm assuming directional drilling again?
Potentially, yeah. If you can do it to Duke standards and everybody else's standards, that's the tough part. Duke was really difficult to deal with on the causeway, I know that. I mean, it's $250,000 for them to move on the causeway. They're
10
now
years
on
ago.
it. Yeah. So I think it's feasible. Whether they would agree to it or not is an if.
Go.
So I mean, I'm guessing to coordinate and get the utilities moved, like I said, it's probably at least $500,000 paying the utilities, and probably would take a year to get it pulled off.
I mean, it took us forever, this one pole over here.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So then the question is, we have two task orders. B is the engineering for that dry main, and then A is for the other work. I think what I heard, I guess we need to make a decision if we want to do that dry main or not. I am of the opinion, probably not at this time. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know if potential something over there or if other improvements can handle what's going on over there or what.
Would agree.
Other options for new developments if we want to separate that out. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve United Working Task Order 2026-03A in the amount of $195,200 for the 2027 CCMG Phase 2 West Jackson Street Improvement Project.
Nice work.
I'll second.
Only one. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Moving on to the waterworks. On the 16th, we did approve the task order the council did, and we started the survey for all the waterworks projects. And of course, there's about 5 projects. There's 5 projects involved with that. The new water plant, 2 new wells, new elevated storage tank, and also potentially raising the 2 other elevated storage tanks. So all those are like 5 different divisions, separate designs, separate bid packages, separate permitting. So based upon that direction of that, when we went through all the options, we went back and looked at all the man hours and put together the cost to do the design for that. That's what was presented.
So that's all captured in the 2.7?
Correct. And that's construction phase, that's bid phase, that's design phase, permitting, that's everything. So really 5 very large projects. It's basically, the plant project is probably equivalent to the wastewater plant project, but then we have 5 other projects at various sites that are all additive to that. Between all the water mains as well, we got raw water mains and finished water mains that have to be put in to make the system work as well.
So in your I'm trying to find which document it is. Give me 1 second. Now I'm not going to be able to find professional services agreement. There is a section that says additional services. United Consulting may provide additional services if directed by the town and shall bill in accordance with Appendix D. For additional agreed upon lump sum fee, additional services may include the following: additional construction, admin, and inspection services. So that's if you have to come out more times than what's specified?
Right, which I don't anticipate, but,
Okay.
if we decided to, we needed to, or if the council decided we needed to, it would be extra. We spelled out in Appendix A before that exactly how many trips, and I think,
Yeah.
I think it's sufficient to cover it. But we can't control 5 contractors if they, maybe we get a bad contractor and we decide that, hey, this contractor, we need to watch more often. It could happen. So just we had to assume some level that we think is reasonable, but
So additional
That's it.
permitting services, I guess,
we've got all the permits covered for all these phases, but, if something comes up that's totally and spelled out, if there's something unanticipated for some bizarre reason, which again, I don't think there will be, but then we'll have to need to talk about it, but.
and you guys are the experts. So, is this?
Yeah, I'm not
is this
anticipating any of
standard?
those, it's just, we can't foresee everything.
So this
but,
is standard format?
Yeah,
Okay, and we probably approved this exact verbiage before?
I would say it's very similar to the wastewater plant project, yeah.
Okay, then I'm all right with that.
And our history, if you look at like the wastewater plant, we don't come back and ask for something unless it's really something out of the ordinary, so I assume, I don't think we ever have, to be honest with you. So.
That's appreciated. It just, as I was reading through it, I didn't remember seeing it before, but.
We will need an updated copy. You still have Jan listed as the clerk treasurer on here.
Oh, gosh, really?
That hurts.
Rhonda, I was gonna say, you'll probably let her just sign anything
Come
here,
on
but
in.
keep your name off of it.
Jan didn't come this meeting, did she?
Yeah,
We
there
got
goes-
the last one, we could have had it taken care
There
of.
goes your Christmas card.
Thanks, Al.
I'm gonna have to double up on the candy I sent her.
Certainly.
Have to
Where does it say
together.
that at? I'm looking at it. It
Right
says
above
Ron-
Appendix F, certificate.
Oh, under the E-Verify, probably. Is that what it is?
So then,
Certificate of liability and.
The signature page is Rhonda. I think I could-
It's the certificate of liability insurance.
Oh. Where's that at? Oh, let's see, that came from our insurance carrier. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Yeah,
so
that just,
then I think we all about fell out of the chair, the number.
it's a big number. That's why I tried to explain it, but again, how we come up with this is we look at all those tasks that we know from history that it's required to do all these things. And that's what the man hours add up to. I mean, it's a year long with several people working on this to get it done.
Yeah,
So,
I-
and it's, if you look at the percentages, because I always go back, even though percentages don't, we don't do, like some architects will do design based upon percentage of estimated construction. Well, like we talked earlier, we can't control the construction cost. So I think it's a lot better to look at man-hour tasks, because we know what it takes with our staff to do something. But it's a good check, because usually on these projects, the engineering costs for all phases are like 20 to 25%, and we're like at 15%. So it's a good double check. I think I do believe it's a reasonable number for all the effort involved.
Yeah. So that's where I was going. Had Joe and I talked and went out and did some research, and you guys are at 15.54% engineering to total cost.
Right.
And industry standard. Now, that's a little off because a lot of the numbers between 20 and 25, I think, include survey as well, which we paid separately.
Right.
But that 20 to 25%, Joe, seems reasonable from your research as well, correct? So it seems like you're under.
Right, and
What is
we
probably-
tried to look at all the divisions, and hey, we're pretty sure we'll be doing this at the same time, so we tried to save as much cost as we could by that. But
Yeah. So, I mean, I just wanted that known that we went out and looked and what is typical from firms versus where you guys are at. You're probably on the lower side.
I believe that's the case, yeah.
Yeah. Even though we all fell out of our chairs.
I knew you would, because I would have as well, so. Now, one other thing I'd point out too, that only the design costs would be incurred until we have financing, so the rest of the construction admin, the bid phase, all that stuff would come after we probably have at least a ban in place, sewer ban, or water ban in this case in place, so. And then, of course, you could reimburse those other costs as well if you choose to.
So then I did have a question,
Sure.
just something to think about. I mean, we're looking at a 300,000 gallon new tank, correct?
Correct.
If we were to go to a 500,000 gallon tank, it's plus $700,000. So if we look at raising the two existing tanks, one's 150K, I don't know this, Terry just told me this, and the other is 300,000 gallon tanks, 300 west side, 150. So if the east, it's the older tank, the structure is not capable of raising that tank.
Mm-hmm. Or it gets too expensive, because there's a lot more things around it, so that
Yes.
could,
I guess put in the back of your mind, if that 500,000 gallon tank would cover raising that 150,000 gallon tank. I don't know if you've looked at that or not.
I thought about it, because like you said, I think from a system standpoint, we'd be better off having the 3 tanks, but I think we could, if it gets too expensive to raise that tank over there, the small tank, the one down by Terry's office, we could build a larger tank and it might be more cost effective up here. So which means we need to really get that evaluation done, kind of delay the design for the new tank until we get the answers related to that. And I have been talking to Phoenix Fabricators and still trying to get somebody up here, because we're going to have to get them up here to help us evaluate that, because they're the experts on building elevated tanks and raising them. I'm working on that, but you're right, early on, we need to figure that out before, because it might make more sense to build a bigger tank.
All right, I just wanted to make sure that was in the back of your mind.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a good
Okay.
thought. The other thing we'll have to go through too is we've got all those antennas and everything up on those tanks. We'll have to revisit those agreements, but I'm relatively sure that the agreement gives us a latitude to do maintenance and do things like that, and it's kind of whatever they got to do is their problem and at their cost, but we'll need to revisit that.
They have to have notice and
Right.
an opportunity to make changes.
So Aaron, can you look at that and make sure in our agreement, I think it's a yearly, maybe it was a 5-year agreement, right?
It depends on which one. Some of those are 5 years with renewal periods and things included in them.
Yeah, if you would make sure that we're covered, Terry and I talked a little bit about that earlier as well, that as soon as we know, we need to notify them.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure. And it might work out that it makes sense to, if we are going to raise that one, depending on how that evaluation works out, it might make sense to build the new tank first, and then they might be able to function and move over to there, and then just not go back on the other tank. So there might be some opportunity there, just to how we phase it.
Okay. Any comments?
Any questions?
You covered it.
No question.
Dennis?
No.
Motion maker?
I'm looking for the task order number. I have them here somewhere, I think. What task order was that?
We didn't put it in the form of a task order just
Okay.
because there's so much involved, so it's just really a separate agreement
How,
for the Waterworks project.
how comfortable are you with the estimated project cost? I mean, what are you seeing in the market? COVID got us with wastewater treatment.
Right.
Are-
I mean, I'm comfortable with it. We can't control it, you know. We got a little, thing going over in the Middle East and things like that can impact costs. But right now, all the projects we've bid in the last, say, year and a half have all come in under estimate. So I feel
Okay.
pretty comfortable, again, subject to some world war there, something crazy, but.
Right? Okay. So you guys comfortable? Any other questions?
No.
As comfortable as I'm gonna be.
And Rhonda,
Yeah.
our rate study is Did we kick that off, correct?
It's underway.
And they know this number? Or do
I
they?
told them, that's why that was the sense of urgency to do the rate studies, because I told them we had this in the works, so
That they know
they do.
roughly this number and the engineering costing?
I haven't given it that. to
Okay.
them,
I think they were given the full project number,
The
which
full price, yes.
includes more than this in the engineering, so
Okay.
I believe so.
So I'll make a motion to approve the task order for the water treatment plant. What options? Plant option 2, tank option, highlighted in the documentation from United.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's gonna be the water
Thank you.
plant.
We'll keep it moving. The survey's already going, and we did get the aerial survey work done. We've done a lot of the supplemental survey, so survey's moving ahead. So this will keep anything from slowing down, so
Thank you.
that's all I had at this point. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving along to old business. Weight restrictions for roads. Mr. Hayden?
At the staff meeting, so currently we have a weight limit ordinance of 11,000 pounds. At the staff meeting, we had a brief discussion of potentially changing that weight limit. We've talked to other businesses within the community that this is having an impact on. I mean, we had background information to state where we said it was reasonable at the time. I guess, is there any desire to look at adjusting that weight limit?
I'd support it.
I think we need to.
I spoke with Connell, Noblesville, and Fisher's engineering departments and talked with them about why they set theirs where they were. They vary all the way from 5,000 to 11,000 to 19,501 to up to 26,000 pounds. But every engineer told me the main object of the weight limits were just to keep the semi-traffic off residential roads. Aside from that, they really weren't strictly enforcing any of the weight limits. So if it's a point just to make sure we're keeping the semi-traffic off our residential roads, I have no problem adjusting the weight limit up, especially with exceptions that we're giving to the local businesses. But we're going to have to probably identify those somehow so that the police department doesn't have to keep pulling over the same vehicles for our businesses.
Well, Aaron, that's a good question, Dennis. Are you able to do something for a quote exception of a local business?
Well, the way the ordinance is written, local traffic, which would include traffic to and from a local business, is exempt. And so we could come up with, if we wanted to, some sort of a identifier, be it a sticker or a tag, so that's a local business. Now, we can't charge for it, because if we start offering a permit, you can't sell a permit just to locals, but not to people from out of town.
The goal wouldn't make money on
Yeah,
this anyway.
but if all we're doing is letting them be identified that this is in town, like, for example, we've got a truck operation that's right downtown or something, then we could come up with something like that that would let the police know immediately this is a local vehicle. And so that would be an option. The other option is if we're moving the weight limit. I mean, I heard at one point 26,000 pounds. That's going to eliminate virtually all the local vehicles that we've talked about, or at least that I've been told about.
And I think there's still a few, but.
Yeah.
So that 26,001 pound then requires a CDL if it's commercial, is my understanding. I'm not by no means an expert, requires a CDL. Sean and Terry, do you guys have feedback. That's roughly a third of what we're allowing today at max load, correct?
Correct.
If, that, the 26,000 pound one.
Like you're saying, I'm trying to target those big tri-axle, quad axles, and semis that are just driving through town because it's easier to take the scenic route, like Jeff was told, you know. So, like you said, 26,000 pounds would cut down on some heavier traffic.
What's the weight of a triaxle load? About?
68,000 pounds.
So
Yeah,
certainly,
I had 70K as a triaxle.
And if I read this right, up to Class 6 dump truck would be under that. So it would be the bigger dump trucks that would be rolled out. But like some of the local ones that local landscapers and people are using who are doing business in our community would be under that. The one other thing, I know there was concern about how we were determining the weight. And I reached out to Chief Rednauer, and he reached out to Carmel and Noblesville, I think. Was it Fisher? Okay, and what they are using is gross vehicle weight rating, which is the maximum allowable weight of a fully loaded vehicle or trailer as determined by the manufacturer. And so they're just going by the rating. If this is rated for this weight, then it either is or isn't permitted. So we're not debating what you're actually weighing. And that's the system they've been utilizing. And so we can tweak the ordinance to go from the weight classifications we were using to track with this. And this is something that's stamped on the door by the manufacturer and determined in advance.
So that would essentially make it a little more restrictive than if we just went strictly by weight,
Well, I mean-
potentially.
I mean, so your car has a GVWR
Right.
on it, 2,500 pounds, whatever it is. So, I mean, that's what we tried to do with the license plate of where we ended, correct? But the GVWR seems to be the more standard. Aaron, correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
And it's worried about what's its capacity if you fully load it up. And so it's designed to keep that off the roads. And again, you know, up to a Class 6 dump truck, if I understand the chart correctly, it's saying that that is rated as less than that, so that would be allowed.
Oh, the GVR is less than that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm good with that.
So what poundage did you guys want to go with?
Sean, Terry, I mean, do you guys, I think I know where several people want to end up.
You know, talking to everybody at the staff meeting, you know, the different businesses, I think somewhere in that 26,000, 29,000 range. Sounds like that would pretty well cover everyone.
So I kind of like that break point where you become a CDL for commercial. I think that's what you recommended, Frank, which is 26,001 pounds. So
That's where I'm at.
26,000 pounds and under.
So for a frame of reference, like a Ford F-450 with a trailer and maybe a Bobcat or something like that on it would just fit under that. So those types of vehicles would still be allowed. Bigger stuff, you know, tri-ax dump trucks, for example, loaded are extremely heavy, 68,000 is the max. So I like 26,000. I wouldn't want to inhibit working guys from stopping to get something to eat or, you know, things like that.
Well, again, and just for people listening, this does not apply to local traffic. So somebody who lives in town and is going to and from work, any business that's in town, or a business from outside of town that is driving into town to provide service, that they're all exempt from this. This is just people who are purely transiting through Cicero.
Keith, do you have any thoughts? I mean, our pavements are,
I
so,
haven't looked at it in a while, but I emailed
what about our pavement standards? So like on Jackson Street, our pavement standards are, what are we designed to? Sorry to,
Well, they're for H20 loading, which is, 3,000 pound wheel load is base load, but, it's not a function where they can handle it, it's a function more of, I think, how long it takes for it to fail. It is short of life, I think.
But you're talking 40,000 per axle there, right?
okay.
But again, it's the turn motions and just constant feeding that shorten the life of the thing.
Right.
I think it'd be a great thing if you could limit it, I just don't know, of course, it is.
I mean, do you have a weight that you think is better than others? Right now, we're at 11,000 pounds. I think, I don't know that that's the right limit.
It seems low.
Um,
Is it 11,000 or is it based just total, or is it based upon?
Total.
Total.
That's total. Yeah.
But the reality is a 30,000 pound triaxle will do less damage than a 20,000 pound dual axle probably, as far as the road, so it might make some sense to base it upon axle weight as well.
I did ask that question, but during the staff meeting, if that's how we should look at it, but they didn't really state that we should.
And that's what the state is based upon axle, single, dual, and triple axle. Might be worth considering as well.
So maybe we hold off and we look at that first.
But how do you enforce that? I mean, really,
You have to have scales, right?
you gotta have the scales, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, we don't have scales.
So we have to go by the GVR.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's been the challenge, is we're trying to find something that without a scale, we can enforce uniformly.
All right, so I think, Aaron, do you just need a consensus to update the ordinance and we would vote on it?
Yeah, and then I would bring it back next meeting.
Okay, so are we good with
26,000
26,000.
based on GVR.
26,000, 1 pound and over are restricted?
Correct.
So it includes that 1 pound. Anything 26,000 pounds and under are allowed?
You're restricting anything over 26,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, one other thing, my understanding was there's some discussion, do we want it to apply to recreational? Again, my thought is 26,001 pounds is a pretty big recreational vehicle.
So I thought it was commercial vehicles only, but maybe,
This is based on the weight.
okay,
Now, if it's a camper of a resident, then they're exempt, because that's local.
Right.
But if somebody drives up and cuts over to, say, Katiwi, and they're not local, they're just passing through, then they would technically fall under
I
this.
mean, we do have White River Campground, people
Yeah,
coming from
I
30.
mean, I don't know that any RVs weigh that.
I don't know how they would. They're made of thinnest metal ever. Oh. It can't be right. That's a terrible truck.
Class A's get up over around 30,000.
But you're essentially, when you're talking a Class A, we really even see those around here?
Yeah, you see them quite a bit.
But that's the top end. That's a,
I think we're getting a little too much in the weeds there.
Yeah, there's no need to, I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask you. We
Yeah.
can leave it as is.
Yeah,
That's
so
like-
if you would update, I think there's a consensus to update to that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Emily, you're good?
I'm good.
Dennis,
I'm
good?
good.
I'm good.
Thank you.
All right, ready to move along?
Yep.
All right, Mr. Cook, 250 South Bruce.
We had ambulance agreement under old business.
We did?
Yeah. It's on mine, maybe it was taken off.
That,
Ambulance agreement,
It's not on the printing copy.
maybe I just wrote it down, I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah,
All right.
Chief's on
So,
vacation.
so, I guess, just a question on, I had it on mine, I don't know where I got it from.
I thought we did the ambulance
I did
last
too.
time.
Yeah, I did last.
So maybe I just had a question.
Okay,
We have the agreement signed
We
with the ambulance for the financial terms to repay the CCD
we
funds?
did that last time, because I did the amortization schedule when we signed off on
Yeah.
it last council
I
meeting.
think we handled all of that.
We
during
did.
Okay.
our
I
earlier
did
remarks.
We did it by resolution.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, good.
I'm good, thank
Mr.
you.
Cook, apologies. If you don't mind stepping to the podium and stating your name and address.
Clem Cook, I own the property at 250 South Peru Street. Property's been in my family about 50 years or a little more. And we've pumped sewage out of the basement for 50 years. Still pumping sewage out of the basement because when Main Street lift station goes into alarm, it backs up. Now, evidently, I'm the only house in town that still has a problem. Is that correct? I'm just trying to get a fact-finding mission here to see what's really going on. Was Main Street lift station in alarm on July 4th?
Yes.
Okay, we all know that, okay? Are there any plans to do anything with the Main Street lift station as far as improvements, a new lift station?
Oh, can we back up?
Sure.
What happened?
I'm sorry?
What happened? Did you, so.
My sewer backed up.
Sewer backed up? Okay.
And I pump it out into my neighbor's yards. You got any other suggestions for pumping it? You don't want to pump it onto the highway, do you?
I'm still trying to catch up with what took place here, so give us just a second to get our bearings before we go. Terry, can you summarize this here?
He never contacted me until he contacted Rhonda. Rhonda asked me what's going on. I said, I don't know anything. Nobody's contacted me.
I sent the email to you guys.
When he came back and said that the main lift station, Main Street lift station was alarmed and backed all the way up to 19, I never received any other calls from any other homes that they had sewage backup, and that's quite a distance.
How many houses do you think roughly would be in between that?
Okay, I'm the third house off of that main,
Okay.
okay? And like I say, this has been going on for 50 years, folks. It's nothing new, it's not a surprise. I just, obviously you folks were in the dark and didn't realize this. But it's there.
So he is.
What are you doing with all this water?
Well, hang on real quick, let's find your location. So you are just south of Port Cicero? correct?
Yes, third house south.
Okay, for
I see it
reference.
now, I see it.
And then Terry, his sewer drains to the main state, the main,
It does, it goes west over to, and down Trump Hill and.
to right there?
You replaced that line down 19 a few years ago. That's where you made your mistake, was not reversing the flow. If you could on that, send it back, you'd have taken a lot of pressure off of Main Street by doing that, but obviously that didn't, and it may not have even been feasible, I don't know, but I didn't even know it was happening.
We're talking about the relining project there, right?
Well, I mean, that's why, so it's all making sense now. That's where this has come into play, that Keith has provided.
Okay.
So we have had over the years
I've
significant,
replaced furnaces, I've replaced main boards and furnaces, I've cleaned and pumped, and, you know, this wasn't just, yes, it might have been a 100-year event, but we've had that 100-year event several times in the last 20 years, 30 years. Last year, I had 8 inches of water in there because the sump pump failed and the backflow preventer didn't work.
so you do have a backflow device on your,
I have a backflow preventer in the sewer line in the basement. I'm contemplating putting a manhole out in the yard
Discussion.
so I can put a backflow preventer out there. you know, this is, like I say, it's just going on too long, guys. We need to do something.
So, I mean, so I've been on the council, this is my 12th year, this is the first time that I remember hearing of
Yeah,
this one.
this
We've
is-
heard of others. I'm not gonna say that we haven't had problems, but this is the first time I'm hearing of this one.
Okay, well,
So,
like I said, I'm kind of on a fact-finding mission here tonight, and from now on, every time it happens, I will be up here. And if you know, if we're still going to do this years down the road, I guess, you know, we're talking tort claim here, to get something done. I mean, document. That's what I'm trying to do tonight, is document the fact that I have a problem, and you have a problem. Like I said, what are you doing with all this water?
so
Every time it rains, you're getting stormwater into your system. There's no doubt about that. Now, Keith told me you'd basically double the size of the sewage treatment plant, so evidently you're treating all this water. And the problem with Main Street is it can't get it there because, well, I asked here, did you guys get a copy of my questions?
No.
All I had is all I sent to you. I didn't, you just sent me an email that says that you don't want to be put on the agenda to discuss your, that's all I got. Sewer packet.
I sent you an email with this, with an attachment with all these questions on it.
I'll have to check that. I don't recall. What I got, I forward to the council. And typically, that's how I handle. I just let them know that.
Okay, well, I'll just go down the list here then. I thought you had the questions, I'm sorry. We've determined Main Street was an alarm. And my other question was, what are you doing with the water when that goes an alarm?
So over the years.
Over the years, I know what's happened over the years.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
So we've spent $28.5 million working on I&I and sewer improvements. Were you aware of that? So if you let me speak, over the years, we've significantly reduced the I&I going into our stormwater sewer. We have spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to fix that.
Yes.
We are significantly better. We actually have an IDIM, what's it called, non-compliance. Agreed order, and that drove the wastewater treatment plant. So the town has put significant effort in reducing I&I, that's the infiltration from stormwater, and being able to use additional. So we believe we're at a pretty good place at the moment. But this is the first time, like I said, I haven't been 12 years straight, but I've been on here 12 years on the council, and this is the first time that I remember hearing of this.
Okay, well, that's why I'm here now, so
Okay,
we all know
wonderful.
about it, okay?
So there has been
So
significant
the
effort.
treatment plant doesn't have to divert any water, they can handle everything they get.
We did in that 5-inch rain.
Yeah.
Which at 5-inch rain within an hour, a 100-year storm in an hour is 3.5 inches of rain. It's probably about a 200-year storm event that we got on July 4th. And we did not bypass.
That's good. But like I say, you spend a lot of money treating stormwater. Is there any chance that if this happens and I pump this raw sewage, diluted raw sewage, out into my neighbor's yards, because that's the only place it can go, it flows across there, is there any chance town can come back and maybe rinse that off a little bit for them?
So I would say our next step, Mr. Cook, is to, now that our utility department knows and our engineering team knows, I think we need to take a look and see what's going on. I mean, I have a hard time understanding that the backflow valve is not working.
My backflow valve?
That's correct. So we have requirements for the,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting.
no, it's okay. I know you're frustrated. Go ahead, please.
Well, I try to do things local, and the first plumber that we called, his number was no longer good. The second plumber that we called came to the house, couldn't get one of the bolts off, so they told my grandson, you know, these old houses, they get a lot of water, and when the lift station goes down, you might as well just expect to get that water. The third plumber, local plumber, never returned our call. I have a plumber coming, but he's from out of town. Sad, but true. One thing, we should have got this. One thing that would really help, and in today I see all these monitors and, you know, so you're up to speed in the world. If, when Main Street goes into alarm, if a text message went out, we could prepare. Do what?
Well, it doesn't go, he's asking if the text message would go out to civilians.
I mean, to
It
me,
goes out, so the station texts our employees to go address the issue, but it doesn't send out a text message to the general public.
well, could you have one of your employees maybe give me a text if I knew it was coming, it would help. And you know, even when I get this check valve fixed, you don't flush the toilets when that thing is closed, you understand that? So it'd be nice to know when Main Street is not an alarm again and the water is flowing so we could flush our toilet. That's the other part of it. So you might want to think about finding a way to let me know if it's an alarm. It sure would help.
Mr. Cook, what I'm going to suggest is we have Mr. Cooper, our utility director, look into it. Because normally what happens is if somebody has a backup, they contact the utility department, and we go and we figure out what caused that backup, and then what is necessary to prevent it from happening or to correct it.
Well,
And so that's the step we need to take.
well, no, we know what's causing the backup.
We don't know.
Well, I'm telling you.
I know that, but
And
the
your
town,
engineer right here, he'll confirm what I'm saying. When Main Street goes into alarm,
right.
it backs up, and don't kid yourself, folks, it comes all the way back to
But what I'm
19
saying
and
is, I've been representing the town now for about 17 years, and this is the first I've ever heard of your issue. And none of our staff or anyone knew about it until today.
The check valve took care of things, but about 3 years ago, something happened to the check valve, and I had a real good renter in there, and he never called me, he just took care of things. But he's not there now, my grandson's there now, so we need to get this problem taken care of. I always thought it was on Spring Street. Somewhere there's got to be a cross connection. You don't get that much water that fast. It's not just groundwater leaking in there. Something's crossing someplace, and that stormwater.
And that's where they will do their investigation, because they got to figure out where this is coming from. But we need Mr. Cooper and his staff, along with Mr. Bryant, to have a chance to look into it.
Okay, well, so now you know I have a problem. There is a problem on Peru Street, 219, or 250 South Peru, 219, where the hell did that come from? Anyway, I'm not here to cause trouble or to
No,
make
it's-
anybody mad. I just
We
like
understand,
to not have to clean up the basement again and again and again.
we understand your frustration. I mean, we can look into it. We want to know where any I&I, and if this is a significant contributor somewhere on that street, I mean, we will put a plan together and look into it and see what we can find. I also think it's your responsibility to make sure that the check, I understand, but to make sure the check valve is working appropriately. So we have requirements so that this doesn't backflow into homes, that
Well,
those check
actually,
valves are in
I couldn't
place.
get a local plumber.
Yeah, I understand.
And I know that, you know, I used to sit in that seat right there, and there's a lot of people in this town don't have a lot of use for me because I wasn't the nicest guy in the world, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Hopefully they're not holding a grudge against my grandson, but tomorrow I think they're supposed to be there to fix that check valve. But check valves sometimes fail. It happens.
So
And
maybe-
lift stations sometimes fail. It happens.
That they do, and we've done a lot of work, and like I said, we've spent $28.5 million trying to fix I&I and enforcement issues,
Well,
so.
I appreciate that, and I understand it, and I appreciate anything you can do. Okay?
So I think we can look at it and see what we can come up with.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Utility office parking resurface. Frank, you sure you want to do this tonight?
No.
Can we just strike it?
Yeah, we sure can.
Okay.
Was that?
We'll talk offline.
Okay.
All right. All right. I assume there was a conversation that took place before this? Yeah. I mean, I had a feeling you didn't want it on the agenda, but it was still on there, so.
I asked to be on the agenda at the staff meeting. I did follow up like Mr. Hayden had asked me to. I had some of those results. There is one sensitive issue. I don't.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know about
so
that.
we'll just,
Sure.
we'll push that down the road.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Hunter, grant writer.
No, I guess the first thing to decide tonight is if we want to continue our obligation with Amy Shanklin from Green Tree on the grant writing.
So we did have a discussion at the staff meeting. I think everybody was here for that, right? Trying to remember last week. I can't remember
I
yesterday.
think we talked about a 3-month extension.
3-month extension,
Is that
yes.
correct?
Yeah, she was asking for 6.
Yeah.
Dan and I threw out the idea of 3. And we've had some conversations since then. I just need to know where you land on what to do.
Like I said in the staff meeting, my biggest issue with 6 is we're going to hit a period of time where there's just not a lot going on from a grant writing standpoint, and I don't see the necessity to pay for it in those months. So that's my thought process, at least.
I guess, does department heads have a feeling of what's right and what's wrong? That includes you, Mr. Strong.
I know that the utilities department, usually, we don't qualify. Because they
Okay.
always throw in the income surveys.
Yes.
We run into that all the time, that there's, everybody didn't make so much money here in town, we would qualify. So I don't know how we would use it.
Okay. I mean,
I say either don't renew it or renew it for 3 months.
I think we have to with what's going on for 3 months to try to take an existing one through.
Okay.
Give me your feedback. You guys,
I think that would get us through the WCF grant, but it also would get us through the crowdfunding project. And that 3 months would get us through those, and then also the other potential grants that she is currently looking into and working with. So I think 3 months would be adequate. I would be in agreement that I don't think at this point we would want to move out 6 months, but I think 3 months would be
Okay.
okay.
and then revisit it at 3 months. What, Mr. Culp, what do we need? Just a consensus?
Yeah, because we're currently on a month-to-month with
Yeah.
her, I believe. And
Yes.
so that will continue until we give her notice we're terminating.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good to go? All right, moving along, wheel excise tax. Mr. Cole?
Yes, members of the council, you'd asked me to put this together, as I think people are aware by now. Thanks to HEA 1461, the law was changed recently so that if a large pot of money is only going to be available for road work to communities that have adopted a wheel and excise tax. And to give you an idea of that, the Community Crossings Grant is $100 million. And this pot of money is the lane mile direct distribution is estimated to be between $190 million and $254 million. So we're talking about more than we are getting in the Community Crossings Grant. And because we have 5,000 people or more, we are required to adopt that tax or be eliminated from that fund. And so I put together an ordinance to be introduced tonight, but not to be voted on because we have to have a public hearing. I did not put in the dollar amounts of what you guys wanted to charge. I did include some notes because the state statute sets forth the requirements of what we'd have to do. For the wheel tax, the minimum is $5. And for the excise tax, the minimum is $7.50.
That's annual, right?
Yes, annual.
And if you remember, this has been discussed in previous council meetings. We just decided to push it down the road a little bit.
Yeah, because we have to have it adopted and noticed to the state by September 1st of this year, or else we'll miss out on that money next year. And the council decided not to do it last year because we weren't required to. And, you know, as this ordinance, I think, makes clear, we're doing this because we're required to, or else we would be turning down a lot of money to help our roads.
Essentially, what he's referring to, it says this is our primary source of road funding. And they put in new requirements for us to charge this wheel and this excise tax for us to be eligible for those monies. So we do have the latitude to determine what amounts we want to set. And in previous, just to refresh everybody, in the previous meetings, we decided on the minimums for each set forth by the statute. So what we have to determine is if that's where we want to stay with it at the minimums, or if we want to go to another amount.
To add to that, I believe to be eligible for this CCMG application back in September, you have to have this in place next year as well.
That was changed as part of that legislation. So now you can get CCMG without it, but this bigger pot of money you have to be a part of. Yeah, but originally that's what it was under SB 1.
Enough webpage to this day that you have on your CCMG pages, that's how they do it.
Yeah, it got changed. This is one of the fun things that happened late in the session.
So, I mean, let's get it in by September anyway.
Yep.
So I am not for adding extra tax, but it benefits our citizens greatly as rules change. So I would be for the $5 for wheel tax. Minimum $5 wheel tax is what's allowable, and excise tax at $7.50 is allowed.
That's where I'm at as well.
I agree.
Those are both the minimum.
The bare minimum we're allowed to, or that we're required to do, so. Have our consensus?
Mr. Johnson?
I agree.
Then I will
$5.07?
we'll insert those
5 and
numbers.
7, I got it.
We will publish notice.
5 and 750.
We sent out
$7.50?
we sent out the notice to the paper so it can get published. They have to have at least 10 days notice. So we will have a discussion, public hearing at our next meeting, and after that, the council can vote, or it can wait till the following meeting. But that'll get us done in time to get notice to the state by September 1st.
Okay.
That is ordinance number 07-21-2026-01.
Okay. All right, good there? Moving along, LWCF Engineering. Sorry, I just wait. If I would have noticed it, I just had to stay up there.
That's all right. As I spoke to you at the staff meeting recently, one of the things we need to find out for purposes of submitting the grant, which is due on the 31st of July, is whether or not we would be willing to move forward with engineering fees and studies upon state approval.
I mean, these are going to be incurred no matter if we get the grant or not, if we keep trying to apply for it, correct, and eventually get it. So
Yes.
it's probably going to be cheaper now than it is going to be later. So
Right.
I support.
I support it.
I support it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one last thing, if you're ready to go to miscellaneous and ready.
Well, we have
No, we have
two more
Oh.
topics before we get to miscellaneous.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I didn't write it in there.
All right.
Boat license agreement.
Quick refresh on the license agreement. Is that
It's just a boat license agreement
boat license?
between planning and,
Yeah.
so.
And that's 0721-2026-02, correct?
No, that's a resolution.
Yeah, that's the resolution.
Oh,
This is just an agreement. It doesn't have a resolution or ordinance number.
gotcha. What's the resolution?
That is for the closing.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I forgot, I only wrote half of it down. Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the boat license agreement. And essentially, this is to use a boat by a town employee.
Yeah.
I second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Vote away. All right. Now moving on to resolution 0721-2026-02, which would allow Ms. Gary to sign our closing documents for
The TNT
the
property.
TNT Farms, okay. So we just need a motion and a
I'll make a
second.
motion to approve that resolution.
Second, Dennis Johnson.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good to go there. Miscellaneous, Mr. Hunter.
As I spoke at the staff meeting last week, the July 4th festivities in the park this year generated $14,550 in vendor fees. That money traditionally is used each year. That goes back to the town, and that money is used to prepare for whether it be the street department, police department, any of the departments that need barricades, stop signs, whatever they need to help make the future events work better. I'm here tonight to ask for $10,000 of that money to put toward a PA system in the park. As you know, it's something I've kind of wanted to do for a long time. We just couldn't put the funding together, but in light of the storm that we had on July 4th in the park and the nature of the severity of that, we've decided we want to push ahead. I believe that that cost to install the PA system throughout the park, there at Community Park, to be around $21,000. I'm still trying to fine tune that, put numbers together. But I did get a commitment from Lights Over Morris Festival for $5,000 of that and $5,000 from the Cicero Friends of the Park. So I'm asking for the $10,000 to hopefully round that number out from that festival funds.
Existing monies. Thoughts, questions?
I think we need it, especially after that storm, because we're vulnerable for the farmer's market, for anything we have, any type of festival, and a warning system would really, really help.
I agree.
Dennis?
I agree.
Eric? You're done.
Thank you.
All right, moving along. Comments by citizens. I have 2 blue slips. Mr. Freeman, you were first.
Wait, let Westwood.
Huh?
Who's
What?
next?
What?
I put myself.
You're gonna pass?
No, he just wants to go
You're
last.
deferring? You can go last if you want to.
I'll come second, let whoever you're first.
Whatever you want. And step up.
Oh, well, then I'll go next.
Ann Mayer, 629 Shore Lane. And I just want to ask about these call before you dig utility flags. I've had them in my yard for well over a month. They put them down. I finally asked you about taking them down, and you said, yeah, I'll take them down. They showed up again.
I have them in my yard for the 4th time this summer now.
Yeah, well, and what scares me is in my yard, they're the yellow gas line flags. And so it worries me to remove those because my daughter's house on Catamaran, the road got closed because they cut the gas line. The bus couldn't even get my grandsons home. They had to drop them off somewhere else. I know of a neighborhood years ago that blew up because they cut a gas line. So I guess I just wonder, is there something that can be done? It's like, okay, you guys want to put in these, whatever, fiber optics. You have to put them in within a week or 2 after you do the call to dig. But they don't. They just sit there and sit there for weeks and months. And
So I'll throw a question out there. Is what is the expectation to leave those flags in once they're placed? Is it 1 week, 2 weeks? Half the time they flag it and then I never see anybody even come and do the work. You know?
There's a duration.
They should be gone when the work's done.
but they don't ever
Those
come and
flags are
work.
good for so much time. What,
They could have bored through there without you even knowing.
Okay, so, well, you know, Christine lives right on the corner by me. So one day, I came home and she was out there, and there was a guy on the other side, on the, north side of the street, and they had bored underneath Shore Lane. And he said, and they had this big machine, and he said, we'll be back tomorrow, okay? I asked Christine, did they dig again no, nothing. And so everybody removed the flags. We never saw any equipment out there again, and now there's more flags again. And you know, they paint the yellow. Well, when you mow that yellow up, and like I say, if it weren't for gas lines, I could
I think
care
we're in a
less.
little bit of an anomaly of a summer too. It's been pretty excessive this year, given the fiber installations and everything.
Yeah.
They should be done, I'm sure they
So you-
But they just put flags up again like
Last
a
week,
yeah, a
just
week
did
or
it,
so
and we're
ago.
standing too.
could have happened. What probably happened then in that case is there was another utility damage, and they're gonna have to dig to see what happened. So, unfortunately.
good for 14 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10 to 14 days is what it says it's good for.
yeah.
10 to 4,
So I'm
okay.
reading 20 days. I was told 10 days before, but I'm reading 20 days here.
Well, so they even this last time put a white flag on that. Who's the gas company? Synergy?
Center Point.
Center Point, with the red circles, Center Point, you know, beware of gas lines and stuff. So I have a white flag that wasn't ever put there before. So, you know, I just don't want my house blown up,
I hear you.
you know?
So Frank had discussions with one company about not going too far out earlier this year. I don't know if that's the same company or not.
It is, and we had that discussion several times with them, and they agreed to not call in locates willy-nilly. But the standards say that the contractor is supposed to be the one that makes the call. So if the contractor gets switched, which seems to happen a lot, that's what seems to make duplicates a lot. What I've been telling folks around town is we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost done with this thing. So white flag means untonable gas. They need to mark it in a special way because there's a type of name that is.
Well, and they've never put that flag before, so I guess it didn't matter before. I don't
If
know.
they're there for, say, 3 weeks, you should be able to pull them.
Okay,
If they need to remark them, they will do that. It's a real
Okay.
important step in that process, but if they're there for 3 weeks, I call those to pull them.
well, and like at my daughter's house, you know, the yellow flags were up and they still cut the gas line, so I don't know how much it really matters to them anyway, but it's, the gas lines are a concern, you know? I don't care if they cut the cable, whatever, but the gas lines are,
It's pretty important.
it is important, so. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Freeman.
Didn't want to cut you off. Bruce Freeman, 880 Morris Landing Drive. My question is, do we have building standards for maintaining retention ponds? As far as landscaping it, manicuring it, keeping the weeds down?
I've looked at.
Okay, because I've been up to Tamarack, and supposedly the HOA president confronted one of the neighbors who was trying to weed eat some of the supposedly aquatic plants. They're weeds.
They're weeds.
Yeah, they are weeds. There's nothing watery about them a bit. Anyway, so well, we can't cut them down because they're natural plants, they're aquatic and this and that. Well, if they had the money, they would mow them. So my question is, because it butts up to the back of my property, it is their property, but still it's over the little embankment of mine. Can I legally cut them? Is it still HOA, it's still their property?
If it's not on your property,
Okay,
I don't believe you can go.
okay.
I mean, technically, that's easement right there, isn't it?
Do what?
That's the neighborhood easement, potentially. It wouldn't be Bruce's.
Yeah, it's not
easement.
Bruce's.
Well, anyway, the question is, because across from me, their people have already cut all those weeds down. I mean, there is no, like, erosion control. They're rolling right into the lake, or into the,
What he's saying is on the Tamarack side of the retention pond, they are trimming them down, but on the Morse Landing side, they're not allowing anybody to trim them down, and they're not doing it because they say they don't have the money to do it.
So, I mean, go ahead.
I'm unaware of any landscaping standards for retention ponds.
So they could, okay, so you could have, in a sense, 100 yards of weeds around it.
I mean, we're talking about weeds that are approaching 5 feet tall in some places.
I still think that our lawn and weed standards. and
That's
stuff
what I do
still
would apply.
So that's 8 inches, isn't it?
It is.
Well, from a safety standpoint, they've got 5 or 6 4x4 posts with life preserves on it.
Well, not only do we have that, but we kind of have a catch-all too for overgrowth and nuisances, that if it's in violation, we could go out and take a look at that and issue an order that way too.
Because these life preservers, if they let this thing grow, I mean, you're not going to be able to get to them. You know, it's a technical thing, but it's like, you know, for aesthetic views, we'd like to just knock it down. If they don't have the money to mow it, we have the time to cut it. So I'm assuming we'll probably have to go to their HOA meeting and bring it up and see if we can legally cut it down.
I advise the complainant to call the police department about that.
Oh, well, chief,
Yeah, we can have the ordinance that Aaron mentioned.
it's more of a ticky-tack thing, but I mean, just, you know, aesthetically, if we cut it down and...
Well, ultimately, it's going to increase the number of bugs. You don't know what critters are going to
Right.
live in there.
The geese won't land in it, they'll land in our yard.
They're landing, that's correct. The
We're
geese are no
drawing,
longer on
there's a
on the
potential
edge of the
for
pond.
critters.
They're migrating to yards now.
It's just something, this is the only year they haven't mowed, and they don't have the money. I can appreciate that, but there's
This
only about
is
7
new.
homes that really affected. I don't know what it is beyond up on the north side. But anyway, I was just curious if we had any, I don't think we'll have a legal foot to stand. I mean, let's probably go to their HOA and ask.
No, it's,
We send them a certified letter telling them,
Thank you.
they don't. We get back and take care of it, we don't. I ask Mr. Cooper, and they go out and cut it, and then they bill them for their time and service.
That's stormwater. I can't take care of it. All right, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
so Aaron, you and Chief Rednauer will follow up, and
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, I have no more blue slips. Anybody have anything else?
I do. Just want to remind everyone, the employee picnic, Friday at noon at Community Park. Come hungry.
All right. Anybody else? If not,
Bring me
I
a present, it is my birthday.
won't be there.
Are we all invited?
Of course.
I unfortunately will be out of town on Friday. If we have nothing else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Dennis Johnson.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aaron, who signs this agreement?